Untamed is going to be untamed. It's going to be a little crazy. I want to talk to my people. I want to talk to my brothers and sisters. We can have grace and humility in how we interact with other people.
Oh, hot dog, look at you.
And nobody talked about what's really happening.
And let's have conversations about what truth is.
Within Dominion and over to Belgrade, Serbia, to his head of development in Belgrade, Serbia, where they're instructing the guys in Belgrade, Serbia to come on and change the results in Antrim. Those results, the reason they went through different versions and it took so long, because there were guys in Belgrade VPNing into the back of the machine and creating virtual machines and altering election results multiple times at the direction of people of Dominion. And the CEO was in on all. So that's all in the emails. So I kind of lose track of the lies. It's not an American company. There are developers aren't have security classifications. They're over in the head developers in Belgrade, Serbia, and they do have access to the machines, and they are in fact changing results in that 3-week period while Antrim's trying to come up with some result. The reason it kept changing was they were trying to make their lies line up. So that's in the emails. So we've known this since 2023.
Hey, welcome back. It's good to have you back after the Memorial Day holiday. I took a couple of days off. You'll notice that I wasn't on social media for the last 3 days. I needed to kind of regroup and take a little bit of time. Touch grass. I tell people to touch grass quite often. Like every time somebody goes and says something or does something where I'm like, oh my gosh, I don't think you're seeing it right. Go touch grass. So I went and touched grass. I took my own advice and got out for a little bit and had a little bit of a good time. This is, Patrick Byrne I was on the phone with earlier today, and we were talking through some of the lies that keep being perpetrated by Dominion and people in it, people like Eric Coomer, John Paulos, and how this substructure and the way the organization works allowed them to hide behind private equity firms and, shell companies, and how Dominion in Serbia then became Dominion in Canada, that became Dominion in the United States. And they were able to circumvent the election systems, but also to create parallels with ES&S, Smartmatic. Smartmatic, by the way, owned Sequoia Voting Systems. And we have these emails. We have all these emails. More importantly, ODNI has these emails, and we very much so know now that the CIA was deeply involved in the destruction of our elections and the stealing of the voice of the American people. I built a model and I was going to put it out on Friday. I'm going to go through that with you over the next few days. But let's just talk about all the things that are happening inside of our government. It's a government at war with itself, and the American people are the ones that are fighting over it. And so I did this video on Friday or Thursday, excuse me, where I walked through going back in history to the Magna Carta in the 16th century, and how it was the first time in the history in modern history, even going back to Roman times, that you saw that the power structure, it used to be that the laws were below the king, right? And so the king basically had all this power, could act with impunity, do whatever he wanted at any time, and the people were basically the subjects. Well, during the Magna Carta, what it did is establish the rule that goes above the king. And now the laws of the land even hold the king accountable. So what's happened in the United States, in large part, what's also happened around the world, is that the line of laws, this is the rule of law, the rule of order, the rule of just being a good person and running a civilized society. The reason why it's out of whack is because that law of being everything is below the law, legislative branch, the judicial branch, has now been moved down. And now we have special interest groups, we have the judiciary, we have the legislature, and we have the executive branch. We can't ignore that as well, because there's been lots of things. You have the auto pen and other things that have been done, and they protect each other. And you can see that the elitists and the power structure, the powers to be are above that line. They're above the law. So Americans are largely subjected to laws on a persecutory standpoint, not on a prosecutory standpoint. And this is what happens when you have a breakdown of societal norms. And frankly, that's where we are right now. We're in a place right now where our country is hardly recognizable. So are other countries around the world. And you could only get here if you stole the voice of the people, because people tend to be pretty rational collectively. But you can take away that rationality if you replace it with the appearance that these are representative of the people in the community. And then they can act with impunity and change laws and legalize abortion up till birth and cut off penises and change the rule of what a woman is and create all of these really crazy, wacky, ridiculous things that we find ourselves debating, which are not up for debate. It's not up for debate. It really is the dark side that we've been able to uncover and say, well, this is ridiculous. And 2020 ushered in this world where they can just beat you with impunity if you don't follow what they say you have to follow. So this gets to the part of the stolen election system being the symptom. And then we have all these people in government, like Tulsi Gabbard. Well, Emerald put out this thing of why did Tulsi retire? So let's put this up. Several sources confirmed Ratcliffe's CIA did take back boxes of files from Tulsi's ODNI. How in the world did the CIA come in and do that? A number of ODNI agents have been threatened by Ratcliffe's CIA while being investigated themselves for looking into matters of CIA considers off limits. So who are these people? I was contacted recently because Tulsi wanted to talk with me. That meeting was stopped by Tulsi's chief of staff, Alex Henning, I'm told. I'm also told there's an open war inside the U.S. government between CIA and ODNI that has now reached the White House. Several members of the ODNI were recently removed or quit who were integral to investigations into election fraud and voting machines. Their role was to verify the technical accuracy of voting data. Without their expertise, these election fraud investigations could be halted. In October of 2025, the infamous Dominion voting system was purchased by a new entity, Liberty Vote USA. Details of that sale were kept private. Again, this is us, by the way. We're the public, and that's kept private. So your voting systems is hidden behind a trap door, a black wall that doesn't allow you to see what's going on in our country. This appears to be a simple name change, according to my sources. That means Dominion will operate as usual in upcoming elections, stealing elections with impunity. That's where we're at right now. Now, I want to point something else out. Dominion voting system sued everyone under the sun. Eric Coomer came after me. They wanted a proxy to be able to come in and shut Joe Oltmann up. And they figured, this is the easiest way to do it. We got a guy that's a system architect, me, against a guy that's a doctor, highly educated. I mean, certainly he's of better stock than I am, for sure, right? I mean, given the fact that he got a PhD, super smart in nuclear engineering, understands energy decay models, wrote a doctorate thesis, which, by the way, I've read every bit of. I've learned quite a bit. I had to Google some of the things that they were going through and learn about some of the different algos that he had that were in it, of which, by the way, I can't talk about this right now, but man, there's so much to talk about and how complicated Eric Coomer is as a person. Now, with that said, here's what became noticeably clear. Dominion voting system did not sue me. They sued everyone else. Now, they sent me a letter saying that they calculated it and said, oh my gosh, please, we're not going to sue Joe. We're going to sue everyone else around Joe. We'll get Joe to shut up because we'll go after Fox. They never sued me. Why? I was the tip of the spear because I was on that phone call with Eric Coomer back in September. From there, I put out a video in October of 2020 that said, hey, look, I've infiltrated Antifa. Then I'm up elk hunting. I'm sitting with friends, completely oblivious to a lot of different things. I get somebody sends me something. I read it. All of a sudden, I freak out, go through a bunch of information, gather up information, connected two and two to social accounts and all sorts of other stuff that said, yep, that's the same Eric Coomer that was on the call that we were able to verify. Here are his posts. That's two and two together. Antifa manifesto. I mean, it couldn't have fit more perfectly together. Then comes later, obviously, the attacks on me and my family that have persisted for the last 6 years. So this is when it comes down to looking at things, when they say there's nothing to see here, and they put the sail behind a black curtain, and they don't let you see it as the American people, and it's supposed to be of the people, for the people, by the people. And they operate in a pseudo-government capacity, and yet they're above impunity, and they don't sue me. But Eric Coomer sues me, that goes on for 6 years, and Dominion wants to stay away from me like I'm the hot rock. But they sued everyone, from Patrick Byrne all the way down. Why? 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 Would it have ignited a lightning rod of an event? I think it would have. They didn't sue Emerald Robinson either. They stayed away from the hot potato because they knew. They knew. Well, here's my response that I had to Emerald Robinson's post. Go ahead and put it up. It's hard to tell who is in the know and who is not. Even more difficult to understand the why behind the gaslighting and lawfare we're experiencing right now to hide the crooked machine software and mail-in ballots. We have them dead to rights, and yet we wait. Emerald is right about the confirmation inside of the ODNI, and yet we can see it, but nothing is done about it yet. I want to believe in 5D chess, and yet I understand that history has winners and losers for a reason. Some wait while others do the hard work. Most are not ready for the consequences, and most of the time the consequences are doled out with impunity. Take Charlie Kirk as an example. He has proof positive that we are at war. We trust nothing, and no one perceiving is on our side. They will let the truth leak 50 years from now. That is useless. That is, unless the hammer of justice or God's vengeance are released like a fury of the evil we are victimized by each day. Here's what I do know. The WEF signaled all of this. The world Team Evil has expanded their diabolical plans through degenerate surrogates. Those surrogates use stealing elections and perpetuating lies and bully sticks to change the ethos of not just our nation, but every nation around the world. Something is coming, that I'm sure of. What it is depends on what sacrifices we are willing to make today and move the line and restore nations. We must not only stand together, we must fight together. And if you think that what I'm saying right now, and I'm in the calming stage. Like I have been stripped of my attorneys. I have had a judge tell me that I cannot interview the very person that can prove a lot of the things that Eric Coomer is saying are false. You want to talk about being hogtied? I have both hands tied behind my back. My legs are absolutely shackled together, and I can keep going forward and watching a judiciary that is so rotted that it's not even recognizable. It doesn't even represent any part of the interest for the people, which, by the way, we're going to go through and do a special just on how rotted the judiciary is and how bad it is. But I want you to see this. This is a state. This is a Representative Mike Boss from the state of Illinois at the state legislature. Mike Boss, go play it.
Not the American way. These damn bills that come out here all the damn time come out here in the last second, and I gotta try to figure out how to vote for my people. How ashamed are you? You should be ashamed of yourselves. I'm sick of it. Every year, we give power to one person. It was not made that way in the Constitution. He was around when it was written. Now we pass rules that stop each one of us. Enough! I feel like somebody trying to be released from Egypt. Let my people go! My God, they sent me here to vote for them. They sent me here to vote for them, to argue for them. But I'm trapped. I'm trapped with my rules that have been forced down our throats. Folks, we live in a democracy, but not here. But not here. So you go back and you tell your people, I'd like to do that, but the speaker has so much power, so much control, and each one of us do it in their districts. And have to go back and say that. And you can say on your side of the aisle, oh, no, that's not the case. But yes, you do. All of us know you got to deal with it. When's it going to stop?
When's it going to stop? You know that we talk about consequences and what people have to face. And I get to hear from people online that want to make up things about what happened in history. They never had a seat at the table. There's a guy out there that says he's a free Tina Peters. A guy named Neil. This guy's a degenerate. Works as a janitor at a casino, and he comes out and he always has something to say about who benefited most from Tina Peters going to jail. Who benefited most? And he always creates these segues into other people, including myself and Mike Lindell. It talks about things that he knows nothing about. I had a conversation with Tina Peters this morning. And we have a guest today, by the way, that I actually met Chris Kyle a long time ago at a shooting event. And Chris was killed trying to help other veterans. And his brother, Jeff Kyle, is joining us today. He's a Marine veteran and president of American Valor Foundation. His job right now, his mission is to carry on the family's mission of service, ensuring the sacrifice of national heroes are never forgotten. And we're going to talk to him. Obviously, I have a lot of support for the Special Forces Foundation, American military family. I'm no stranger to QRF teams and helping out veterans across the country. But Chris was a special guy. And I'm sure Jeff has some stories that he'd like to tell. But I do want to tell you one thing. Service in this country comes at a cost. And Tina Peters has paid that cost. Many of us have paid that cost in order to protect and to save our nation. And so we're going to talk a little bit about that on the heels of Memorial Day. But I want to show you this. This is Tina from her cell, showing her son and her flag. Go ahead and play it.
Yeah, so one's the American flag, and I think the other one is her son. Because it looks like somebody in uniform.
I got a chance to talk to Tina this morning. She's excited to be getting out of jail after over 600 days by the time she is released on June 1st. She's going to take a few weeks, recollect herself, and try to get back from the damage of being held as a political prisoner for the last 600 days. But now I want to just kind of segue that into some of the sacrifices that have been made. And with that, I want to welcome Jeff Kyle to the show. Jeff, welcome to the show.
Appreciate you having me on.
You're also a Marine veteran.
Yes, sir.
Thank you for your service.
It was an honor to serve.
Hasn't stopped yet, has it?
No, it hadn't. I am. Just changed my uniform.
Yeah. Or you just put it on underneath your skin a little bit. You could pull it back like you're Superman every now and then.
Yeah.
So you lost your brother, and now you're carrying on his legacy, your family's legacy. Tell us a little bit about the organization, because sadly, it's now coming up into my orbit after many years.
So, Chris was always out there trying to help our brothers and sisters that were in need of some fashion. And, we all assisted in that when he was still around, but we just, he was the light of it, he was the face. He had the push and the pull to do all of it. So after he was gone, we had to just continue on and try to keep fighting for our brothers and sisters, whether the military or law enforcement or, any first responder, to help them, because a lot of places, the government, whether it be city, state, or national, they're not going to get the assistance that they need. They're just going to get turned away. So, it's organizations like ours, and there's a lot of them out there, but I know ours, we try to help as many as we can. We're just a small organization. We don't want to be big. We don't want to be like Wounded Warrior Project. We don't give blankets for donations. We don't give teddy bears for donations. It's just whatever donations come in, then that goes into an account, and whenever a first responder or a veteran is in need, then it goes right back out.
Well, let's talk a little bit about, if we can.
Mm-hmm.
Let's talk about what's happened to veterans over the last 20 years. Has it gotten better, or has it gotten worse? The care of our veterans from a standpoint holistically, so like government care, the VA, has it gotten better or gotten worse?
Well, I can speak from experience that you have to fight tooth and nail to get anything, especially from the VA. It's almost like they intentionally deny everything up front because they know most of us are just fed up and are just going to go elsewhere. I don't know why they want to deny veterans, what they deserve, but you almost have to give the blood of your firstborn child to get any kind of benefits through the government. I know things have changed since I first started using the VA.
Well, let me just.
Some things have gotten better.
It's not even just the VA though. I mean, if you look at the standard of care for the VA, it goes down like this, right? And they have TRICARE, and they have all these different units that are pseudo government agencies that are trying to do a public good. So they're operating as a government agency basically. But if you have cancer and you don't address the cancer, it gets worse. Correct? Okay. So follow me here, because I think this is important. This is an important distinction. The rhetoric for we love our veterans is through the roof. Like it's like, oh, we love them. Thank you for your service. Thank you for your service. And yet the standard of care and the things that are afforded that they should get. There's certain things that the government, if they send you to war to do things, there's certain things that they should expect from you in dealing with their mental health, their physical ailments that are caused by injuries that are created by being on the job doing the things that you do in the military. And yet you have private industry and you have private nonprofits that are out there literally working tooth and nail, scrummaging up as many donations as they possibly can get, competing in that market, because the VA has become so ineffective in taking care of our veterans. It's almost as if they would rather them just check out.
Right.
And yet it should get better. I mean, with the amount of, I call it rhetoric, but good rhetoric or bad rhetoric, still rhetoric. That hey, we want to be. We're thankful for our brothers and sisters that served. We're thankful for those that gave their life and sacrifice. And yet the VA does a very poor job, almost as if it's trying to drive it into the ground, of taking care of the people that we're in. So it's being replaced by organizations on the outside that have to do that work. While they're still getting all the dollars.
Yeah.
Right?
Yep. Yeah, there shouldn't be a need for, organizations like ours. We shouldn't be able to assist anybody because there shouldn't be any veteran or first responder that needs assistance. The government
you could expect that some would fall through the cracks. It's just it's human nature, right? There's just certain people
Right,
that
right.
don't know how to ask for help, and people that don't know how to notice the symptoms of when someone needs help. That's across the board, whether they're a veteran or they're just dealing with other, childhood trauma or any other type of trauma that they could go through.
Right. Yeah.
But they also don't make those dollars available to your organization, do they?
No.
So you could fill in that gap for the VA. You'd gladly do it, wouldn't you?
In a heartbeat.
So all they have to do is just say, okay, here's your budget. You have the dollars for this. You don't have the capacity to take care of them because obviously you're letting them walk through the door. Why don't you help fund the organization so that we can do it on the outside because we actually care, because we're veterans taking care of veterans.
Right. Yeah. It would take the limelight out of them.
But they do such a poor job. It's almost, it would almost be better for them.
Yeah. I mean, they say that they're helping because all they're doing is, they're throwing medications at everybody, sending them packages full of pills just to, put a Band-Aid over it and, make them like zombies so they don't feel anything. They don't see anything. They're there. They're not even present.
I saw a statistic that I wanted to share with you, and that is 41%, nearly 41% of the homeless population in the United States are former military. They're veterans.
I believe it.
41% that are living on the street.
Mm-hmm.
Talk to me about what your organization does.
So, I mean, if there's anything that a veteran or their family, washers and dryers, paying bills, medical bills, getting mental health treatment, anything, car payments. I mean, we've done literally everything out there that we can think of to assist these men and women. I say this on a lot of things that I go on. We went and got a guy's wedding ring or his wife's wedding ring out of Hawk because he was at the VA at a in-house treatment for, I think it was a 9-week program, and he was the sole breadwinner. Well, his wife couldn't pay the bills because he was at the VA and not getting any benefits at that time, and she had to go hawk her wedding ring, so they could pay the bills. I talked to him at the VA, had one of the counselors actually contact me and brought me in, and I spoke to him, and he told me the whole situation. So we paid their bills for a few months so he could get back on track, went and got the ring out of Hawk and gave it back to his wife. I mean, it's simple things like that are overlooked. I mean, when somebody is actually trying to get help and trying to better themselves for their family and for the general public, and they still can't afford to pay their bills because they are getting that assistance that they need, that his own wife had to go get rid of her wedding ring to pay the bills. That's pretty sorry.
No, it's actually worse than sorry. It's but you're filling that gap. How do people find you? How do people find the organization?
Really just the website. I mean, we don't have billboards or commercials or anything. Word of mouth, the website, www.americanvalor.org or americanvalorfoundation.org. There's places to sign up to get assistance. We have everything on there from the people that we partner with to organizations that we have assisted. There's a program that we send couples to.
Yeah.
It's in the Colorado mountains.
Yeah, I'm familiar with that. That's
that place is amazing. The things that it does, just getting out in the open, getting back out into freedom and the wilderness and fresh air and being away from everything, being away from your phone, being away from your watch, everything, just getting back to nature. We take guys on hunting trips. Anything that we can do to to get them to feel alive again, then we're going to do it.
So let me so do you combine or create opportunities where you connect with like Family Care Center that has the psychology or the psychological help that they may need? There's a system called TMS. I think is it TMS. Yeah, yeah, it's basically a magnet. Have you heard of that?
No, I haven't.
I need to connect you with. So a friend of mine, Chuck, runs Family Care Center, and they use, especially for veterans, they use this deal in order to stop with depression. It takes away some of the PTSD and trauma that veterans feel. So I think it's TMS, TDS, I think it's TMS. But have you connected any with those organizations to help with, or here are the things that I can help on the front lines, or do you have other organizations that you work with that give that type of care?
Not that type, no. We've never run across anything like that. So I mean, that would be awesome to be able to at least point them in that direction, to have that knowledge. Those are things that we didn't know about. So yeah, that would definitely be amazing to have a link to that.
So what about, I mean, and again, I'm asking questions because I'm just trying to figure out how we, so it's typically square peg, round hole. There's a lot of veteran organizations out there, but getting them to collectively work together, because you're fighting over the same type of donor dollars. So it becomes very difficult because everyone wants to be competitive where you're all trying to accomplish the same thing. So if you could, find ways to be synergistic, it typically works out. But what about ketamine treatments for depression and things like that? Are you familiar with that? Some of the stuff that's being done out there?
Yes, I am familiar with it. We have never had anybody ask us about it. I am familiar with it myself, and I do have, ways of getting people in touch with providers for that. But we've never had anybody ask us about that, and just like the ibogaine treatments as well. I don't have any ends on that, but those are definitely things that need to be looked at.
Yeah, I mean, I'm always curious as to how you can ease the noise. A lot of PTSD is just noise going on in your head all the time, right? You can't really see or think straight, or you can't focus because there's just it's chaos. Whatever's going on upstairs is all chaos.
Right.
But that leads me to, like, why is it getting worse? You have all these different organizations on the outside. You have obviously what you're doing combined with American Military Family, that QRF teams. You got Special Forces Foundation doing the same thing. They have a QRF team. And so you have all these different organizations that are trying to navigate this area. And I feel like there's still holes. Like there's still massive holes that veterans are falling through, right? And it's got to be frustrating at that. But then at the same time, everyone's trying to figure out a way to get people back on their feet. Is it financial? Is it emotional? I mean, what is the... So how do you fit that into all these different boxes and fill in these holes with so many organizations?
Yeah, and that's what we ask all the time is, how come we don't, we have a lot of people request assistance from us. Unfortunately, a lot of them are bogus, so we have to vet through everything that we get. But then you have, I know personally, it's hard to ask for help. As a veteran, if you've dealt with the VA, and if you've dealt with a lot of these organizations and get turned down, it kind of puts a bad taste in their mouth, and they don't want to ask for help. They don't want to be looked at that they're broken. And
well, they also don't want to they don't want to have rejection either. I mean, they're being told no and go. I mean, to be treated that way is almost worse than not getting the help at all.
Right. And unfortunately, with us being a small organization, we have had to deny people just because of lack of funds. That happens a lot with small organizations like ours. If we didn't have a lack of funds, there would never be a no.
Yeah.
as long as it was a legit request.
Legit. Yeah, because you got the
Right.
bad guys that come in too that,
Yeah.
call
You
them
know,
the
and-
Nigerian princess is wearing a
Oh.
U.S. military uniform.
Yeah, yeah, and we unfortunately we have a lot of those that they're 100% through the VA. They have amazing jobs that they make a ton of money, and yet they're requesting assistance and we go back and we research everybody that requests assistance from us, and we look into them, and they're spending thousands and thousands and thousands of dollars on boats and cars, and getting their man cave together and all this kind of stuff, things that aren't necessary, and still they're living outside their means, but yet they're trying to get help. And
I got a story for you.
I think a lot of people have been denied because these organizations are assisting individuals like that. They're not doing their due diligence and researching these veterans, and they're going to take advantage of the system, and then that leaves nothing for the ones that actually need the assistance.
So story time. I was on this men's group that we have. That's a community group, and this guy goes, I really need help. I can't pay my mortgage, right? And so I just, it was a sad story, man. It was a really sad story. So I was like, all right, I'll put up $5,000. Right? I mean, he's a veteran. He checked all the boxes, right?
Mm-hmm.
And so I sent $5,000. So he friends me. He friends me on Facebook, right? His friend deal. I'm gonna send $5,000. And it went through this thing called Dad's Cash Rock. And the next week, he's in Mexico drinking at a resort, sitting in there living his best life. Bro, I haven't been this angry. I was pissed.
Huh?
I was pissed.
Yep.
I could have gone to Mexico too.
Right? Yeah.
So because I'm not built that way where I shame people, I privately send them a text message and they block me.
Oh, well, yeah.
Right? So I went back to the group and I was like, here's what you need to know. I already knew it was going to be a problem, so I took pictures of everything. And it's one of the first times that I didn't do any of my due diligence. I just felt terrible, like all the stuff that he was saying. And turns out he's just a grifting what.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
And
Scam artist.
yeah. So now he's on the 86 list.
Yep.
I'm not even sure he still lives in the community. I think the whole community is like, get out.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. And, in my line of work that I'm in now, I'm in law enforcement. So I see it all the time. And these guys, men and women, they use it as an excuse.
Yeah.
And they play the pity party instead of trying to help themselves, being a warrior and continuing with the fight. Even though the fight isn't what it used to be, we still have to continue the fight. And they're just sitting back and wanting handouts and, sticking their boo-boo lip out and, hey, feel sorry for me, give me this, give me that. And, it doesn't work that way, And then you've got all the immigration, everybody coming over here illegally gets free everything. So it's kind of it's a slap in the face. A lot of guys are going towards the homeless, it is. They're secluding themselves so much that they're going and living in boxes under bridges and in the woods just to get away from themselves, away from society as a whole.
And it's wrecking families. It's literally wrecking families. Mm-hmm. And so people that take away from people that really need it, it also makes me, I pause now. Every single time I go to give or to do something, I pause and I'm like, is this guy legit? Right?
Yeah.
And I shouldn't have to do it, right? I shouldn't have to do that. But our system has become almost shameless with
Yeah.
the amount that people are willing to take. You know, I don't. So I met Chris at a shooting event in Minnesota. Man, what year was it? I own gun stores and range. I'm a partner in gun stores and ranges. We're one of the largest seller of guns and ammo in the state of Colorado. And I think I provided, or we supplied, a bunch of ammo. He was doing a shoot with a bunch of veterans. And, you know, one of the things that you've said, is that Chris possessed the purest form of patriotism and love of country. And when Patrick put that up, I was like, that's what I saw when I saw Chris.
Mm-hmm.
Like, this guy was driven in a way that is just not normal. Like, almost in a way that he could heal himself while he's healing somebody else.
Yeah, and honestly, that's why he did a lot of it, was because it was healing to him.
Yeah.
You know, when we can give a gift of happiness, joy, anything like that to one of our brothers or sisters, you know, I mean, that if that doesn't touch you yourself
Yeah.
and make you feel better, then something's wrong. You know, you got a lot more going on.
Well, and ultimately, he gave up his life serving veterans, which the irony of it is that, you know, he wanted so badly to heal other people that he let this wall down. The wall that had protected him for so long in the military became his greatest weakness in the civilian world.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yep.
So let me ask you the difference between patriotism and tribalism. Am I getting too philosophically deep here? Because I feel like we're just in this place where...
For me, tribalism would be just, you know, those surrounding you in your circle that you care deeply about. And then patriotism is, you know, for the entirety. That's the way I see it.
Yeah, but how come we've gotten so far away from wanting to save our country, and hey, it's their problem, right? And one of the things that just irritates the crap out of almost every veteran I've ever met is the fact that that you're seeing happen in society is noticeably absent and void of anything good, and yet you say nothing. You let your kids be, you know, groomed, and, you know, let's cut off penises and not describe what a woman is, and, you know, let's have abortion up to 9 months old, and let's put drugs everywhere, and let's put porn books in the classrooms. And I mean, I can go down the line. I mean, this is a big list.
Yeah. It's a never-ending list.
And most of the world has lived in this world where they talk about patriotism, but really they don't live it.
Oh, yeah.
Most of our country.
Yep. Yep. They'll fly their flags, they'll put the stickers on their cars, but that's as far as it goes.
So what does that
just
mean?
Like, to me, it's a slap in the face. I mean, it's just like people that put blue line sticker flags on their cars because they think they're not going to get pulled over because they support law enforcement.
Virtue signal.
I mean, they're not. If I see a vehicle with that sticker, I'm probably going to pull you over because of it. I will find a reason to pull you over and see how supportive of law enforcement you are.
The truth comes out. Jeff's like, yeah, gotcha. You're you know what?
Yeah.
You got a pretty mouth. I might take you to jail for this one.
Yeah. You know, and I don't know. It's everybody well, I mean, it's just like Christianity, being a Christian, right? Everybody says, yeah, I'm a Christian, I'm a believer. But do they practice it? No. They don't practice what they preach. They want the stickers, they want the crosses on their cars, you know, they want to wear the necklaces, but they're not Christians. Yeah, they don't want to put in any work. It's just like everybody with, you know, that says that they're a patriot and they support America. they're not doing anything. They're not putting in any effort, any work to show that, to back what they're displaying.
You know, the part that I look at, I like to build models, and I look at the work that you do and the organization does. I know what Chris did unselfishly. He basically healed a person one at a time, right?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
It was always about making sure you focused in on that individual, and if you can make their life better, then you want them to carry that on and do something for someone else.
Right, it's a ripple effect.
Yeah, and that type of unselfishness takes an immense amount of patience, right? And you're in law enforcement, so I know you have lots of patience.
Oh yeah, a ton.
But how do you square? I go to a lot of sporting events, and there's always that one person they stand up that we want to thank this veteran, and I always clap for the veteran, but I shake my head at the 30-second spotlight that people don't understand that as soon as that light goes off that person, they got a 40% chance or 50% chance of it being dark inside.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And nobody thinks twice about it.
No. Veterans are they're a tool that was thrown back in the toolbox, left to rust. Nobody thinks about it.
So now I should tell you about my big audacious plan. What if we got all the organizations, the veteran organizations, to come together, legitimate ones, not the ones that pay their CEO $5 million a year to glad hand and pass out money to their friends, not those type of organizations. But the organizations really doing amazing amounts of good that are returning 95% of the money back to the people. How do we get those organizations to talk to each other and fit the grid, and then create an environment where when we talk about special interests or lobbyist groups, that there's a conglomerate of veteran organizations that are run by, call it a board, right? So they say you have a board of 15 heads, and their only job is to go lobby the government to say, give us a little bit more money. If we had $10 million, here's the problems we would solve, and truly make a difference.
Mm-hmm.
How do we do that?
Well, all the organizations and the leaders of the organization have to not look inside and want more accreditation for themselves or their organization, but look at the big picture, the end game, which is helping our vets. And unfortunately, I don't think there's enough that are going to do that because they want the recognition. I don't care if anybody knows about the American Valor Foundation, because as long as we're continuing to help people, that's all that matters to us. The foundation as a whole can go away if it came to that, and we'll find a way to continue doing it on our own, and we'll figure out something. But because we don't want recognition, we don't care about recognition, and unfortunately, that's what a lot of these organizations, that's what they strive for. Is it's just like ribbons in the military and in law enforcement. They want that recognition. It's and that's not the work that we do. So we've got to figure out a way to, which we do. We stand next to and assist a lot of different organizations. We partner with them all the time, and we don't ask for any kind of recognition. If it's something that they're leading up, we don't need recognition on it. We'll help out any way we can. So it's not just the veteran themselves that we're helping organizations too. And, to me, that's what it's all about, is all of us, like you said, all of us coming together because we all have the same end game in mind. We all want the same thing at the finish line. and we've got to get past ourselves and try to make that happen.
What's the biggest moneymaker for you? Do you guys do like golf tournaments? Do you do?
We have we've kind of I guess dumbed everything down recently. So we don't have very many events. We have probably about 3 events every year.
Yeah.
We have our main gala every year, and that kind of moves around the state. We've been in Oklahoma for a little while, but mainly it's in Texas. And then we have a golf tournament and a clay shoot. And that's really all we do. So we just we hope that throughout the rest of the year, in between all those events, that we can continue to reach people and bring the money in, so we can turn it back around and do some good with it.
So from a mission budget standpoint, you take donations online, obviously. I'm a part of the 33 Alpha program. I don't know what that is. I just give a bunch of money to the Special Forces Foundation, and then I help out when needed for governance and how to help veterans in different areas. And I've worked with Debbie over at American Military Family. Have you heard of them?
Yeah.
Outstanding organization. I'm also really good friends with Tig Tigan, John Tigan.
Okay. Oh yeah.
Yeah. So he's one of my close friends.
Yep.
But how do we? I'll come to your golf tournament. I'll do all that stuff. How do I support you in what I'm talking about? I mean, obviously there are organizations that can come together. I've had this conversation with, by the way, many of the veteran organizations that I help out. Folds of Honor, all the way down, about, hey guys, get together, close the knit, close it off, right? Because if 15 of you go to the government and say we need money, and you sit around in a little thing and they say, okay, we're going to throw $10 million at you, see what you can do with it, and then you come back and show them a progress report. Here's our past performance, because the government's all about past performance, right? And you get $10 million. How many lives could you actually change? And you can statistically even show that has moved. I'm a work the problem guy, so.
Yeah, well, you're a lot smarter than I am, so.
Probably not. All right, last question I got to ask you, and this gets down to Chris. Chris passes away. Obviously, it's a tragic set of circumstances around it. You had big shoes to fill. You stepped into those shoes. You're mourning your brother as your brother. And yet you stepped into this organization. Describe to me what went through your mind, anger, pain, all the things collectively together, and what that really meant and how it gave you purpose going forward.
Yeah, so even before we started the foundation, whenever the notification was sent out to the public about everything, and we were trying to figure out who was going to be that spokesperson. They wanted my parents to do it. I knew neither one of them would even come close to being able to do that. So they started talking about somebody from outside the family, and I nixed that right away. I didn't want to try to fill his shoes, but I wouldn't allow anybody that wasn't family, blood family, to try to give any kind of message or anything to the public about Chris. And from that point forward, it was kind of expected of me to be that guy. The amount of weight and pressure that put on me was, intense. I really never, for the longest time, I never mourned the loss of Chris. I just kept shoving it back down inside. And on top of dealing with everything else that I was dealing with through my service, I never got a chance to really deal with anything. I kept myself going, and Didn't seek any help myself. Didn't take time for myself. You know, I was pissed. I was hurt. You know, I had lost my best friend. You know, not just my brother, but my best friend. And I was lost. I really didn't know what to do. And it took a long time. It took probably 5 years after the fact for me to, on the cusp of almost losing my family, my wife and my kids, getting help myself and getting squared back away to where I could really be of assistance. And one thing that kind of, besides my wife giving me an ultimatum, was another Marine veteran who basically called me out after I went and talked to a group. They were at an in-house program getting help, and he said, "How come you're not in here?" I said, "Oh, because I don't need it. I'm good." And he looked me straight in the eye and he said, "You're the biggest piece of shit liar that I've ever seen in my life." He said, "You're in here trying to give us all these, you know, outlooks on how to help ourselves when you're hurting worse than most of us in here. And some of these guys in here are taking a seat that you need." And at first I was pissed off, but then I was like, you know what? You're right. You're absolutely right. And, you know, that was kind of along the same time that my wife pretty much gave me an ultimatum that to get my shit together, or, you know, I lose her and the kids. So I did that. And to me, I was able to be a better version of me to help more people after I did that. I was able to kind of heal some of those wounds from losing Chris, and, you know, figure out things that I had gone through my service too. You know, kind of get everything where it needed to be. And, you know, so, and I think that's what that allows me to do better in my career path now.
Yeah.
I'm able to see, I guess, kind of see through the smoke on a lot of folks, a lot of veterans, because I interact with vets all the time. And, you know, I've had some bad experiences and I've had some really great experiences. And, you know, I get called to the scene on a lot of guys that are veterans, just because of how I'm able to interact with them and see through, you know, if there is any smoke, you know, but kind of talk them off that ledge if need be, because I can relate. You know, I've been there. I've been in their shoes.
You go through the strife that happens by being a Marine. You join law enforcement. You lose your brother. You deal with people that try to steal from those that need help. Those would harden a man. You know, my brother was murdered by a police officer in 2017. Got away with it. And I grew up hating police officers. Like, FTP was a real thing. You know what that means?
Yeah. Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
Yeah.
No.
And
I hear it a lot.
you know, we 5-0 meant you were running. Like, you just beat feet. It didn't matter if you're doing anything wrong. You heard the word. If you heard 5-0, you were off. And I grew up in DC, and so before my brother died, I have strong relationships in the community with police officers and things like that. I believe that shitty people is individual. It's not a collective team sport. So the police are not collectively bad. You just have bad apples, right? And frankly, if you want to stop some of the recidivism that happens in the community, actually start taking away qualified immunity for judges, not police officers. Sorry.
Yeah.
Right, because they're terrible. But it took a lot to reconcile all that, because I had all this trauma. Call it trauma.
I mean,
I had a shitty childhood, right? And I grew up a hood rat selling drugs. Sorry, I mean,
Hey,
I found Jesus, took me a different direction, but I had to reconcile the way I grew up and the things that I knew with what I had become. And then in the middle of this, I lose my brother who worked for me, who was trying to turn his life around. He was a 1%er. He was, I mean, like I literally turned him so far to the place where he's good. And then a single night I always say nothing good happens after midnight. And I'm getting a call the next morning, my brother's dead. It devastated me. And now you have to take all, and I'm just describing it for you. You can tell me I'm full of shit. But you have to take all the things, all your experiences, everything that's going on in your life, and you put on your brother, losing your brother on top of that. And you've got to go out there and be forgiving and generous and all these things. And all you want to do is just choke the shit out of everyone in front of you, right?
Yep.
And typically you take that out on your own family first.
1,000%. And that's, that's where I was at.
Yeah.
So, and I mean, there's not a fix for it.
No.
Right. There's always going to be those times, you're always going to think back, those emotions are going to flood back in, but I mean, because we're human,
it comes back
we're not,
fast though.
It comes back real fast. Yeah. And unexpectedly.
Unexpectedly. And it could be a weird smell, right?
Yeah. But, I mean, we find ways to cope with it and deal with it, and we can feel it coming.
Yeah.
We can feel that those triggers fixing to snap, and, we can
go touch
find
grass.
ways to, exactly. And when you said that earlier before I came on, man, that 100% touch grass. Yep.
Look, I worked in the Middle East and Africa as a negotiator for 6.5 years. I've seen the worst of humanity. The worst. And then growing up, I saw the worst. And then, in life, I've seen the worst. And I know this about myself. If I don't slow down to touch grass, I'm going to hurt someone.
Yep.
Right? And I think men that are warriors, that are real men, that are God-fearing good men, we can recognize that about ourselves eventually.
Eventually. Takes a long time.
But there's this little area where your wife has to literally yank you up and be like, what the hell? What are you doing?
Yep. Yeah. I actually had to leave a department, a city department, because I was starting to get back to that, because it was run and gun all the time.
Yeah.
And I'm not a spring chicken anymore, but I still have that, I have that desire and that drive, and it was starting to take a toll on the family, and we could all see it. And, I had to leave that department to go to a smaller county department that is pretty quiet to, kind of ground myself, get back to me.
Well, the problem is that it's when you slide hard, right?
Mm-hmm.
So you got to make sure that, I mean, we're the most dangerous parts to ourselves and to others, right? Yep. We're our own worst enemy in a lot of different ways.
Yeah, and we are vicious when it comes to ourselves.
Yeah. Well, two things. One, I'd like to support you, so we'll make sure that we make a donation to you personally. I will. I'd like to talk to you offline about how I can help you in a larger capacity. Just being a resource. I mean, I'll donate guns if you want me to donate guns for a charity event. I'm always down to be my brother's keeper.
Awesome.
And then the second thing that I will say that I think is important is that I want to get organizations to come together. So I don't know. I was just sitting here. I talked about it with Deb. I talked about it with lots of different people, and I'm like, guys, you guys got to make it more about them than it is about you, right? Mm-hmm. High tide raises all ships. If you can solve the problems and we can find the money, we can find the resources that are there and should be available to hold them accountable. But you're stronger as together than you are apart. So figure out a way I can help with that as well.
Yeah, that'd be great. You know, I mean, we're all about teaming up with others and, you know, reaching that goal.
Duluth, Minnesota. That's where it was. We were in Duluth, Minnesota at a shoot, and it was in 2012. I remember.
Okay.
I was trying to figure out when it was. I was like, son of a bitch. Like, where was it? I'm like going through it in my brain. And then it hit me. It was in Duluth. 3 hours outside of Minneapolis.
Okay. Was there a Green Beret that was there as well?
Yeah.
John Wayne?
It might have been. I'm going to have, what's his name? Patterson. Stutters. Do you know Patterson?
I don't know him, but yeah.
So I make fun of him every time I talk to him. He's like, what's up, Joe? I'm like, nothing, brother. He appreciates it. Everybody else is like, you're so mean. I'm like, you have no idea.
So that Green Beret, John Wayne Walding, I'm sure he was the one that was with Chris at that shoot. Yeah. Myself and John would actually go back to that location several times up until probably 2017, probably.
Yeah. Is that when they sold the property?
Was that that might have been when they sold it.
Yeah.
I think you're right. I think it was right after we stopped going up there was when they sold it. And new owners came in.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Little commie bastards. I'm just kidding. Kinda. Sorta.
Really, yeah.
Not really.
Yeah. No. Yeah. Minnesota's a little different.
It's so different. So different. It makes you want to choke them out a little bit. See, that's the part of me that wants to come back. It's like the little devil over here. It's like, choke that guy.
Yep.
You did remind me never to, like the whole blue line flag on my car. My wife was like, we should put this on. I was like, nope. You're likely to antagonize someone. You proved my point. Yeah.
There you go. Yeah. You either get broke into or you get pulled over.
Yeah. Neither's good. Neither's good.
Nope.
Oh, brother, it's so great to have you on. Thank you for joining me, and thank you
I
for
appreciate you having
your service, and thank you for your continued service.
Likewise.
All right.
Likewise. Yep. You too.
All right. I'll pray for you after the show, and I'll make sure I reach out to you afterwards just to say what's up,
awesome.
what's up, see what I can do with it.
I appreciate it.
All right. God bless
Thank
you.
You. Right. Likewise.
These are the type of conversations that may not be as important to you as they are to me. This is therapy for me in so many different ways. It's amazing to just have a conversation with someone that you can see so clearly, and not from the same life experience, but just from the same perspective of just how you see things going forward. And what's interesting about Jeff is that he's carrying on that mission, but in the middle of all of it, he had to rebuild his own house. I don't think you guys caught that, but that just the ability to have, regardless whether it's forced or not, to get to a place where you recognize you have to rebuild your own house as you're helping others build their house. That takes an immense amount of sacrifice and an immense amount of just sheer will. So we're gonna take a break. When we come back, I got a ton of other stuff to talk to you about. And you know, we need to start separating the wheat from the chaff. We need to start putting good people on one side, not based on left or right, just good people. And I think you could start, arguably, you could start just left of center, and that's 99%, and go to just left of the far right. And this is a group of people that are actually pretty reasonable. But the people that have become the spokespersons for the public, frankly, should be taken out to the woodshed and whooped a few times. They act as if they are the arbiters of reality. They're the ones that speak for us. They don't speak for us. They don't speak for us at all. So we're going to talk a little bit about that and what should be done about people like Don Lemon and others that have really done some huge amount of damage to our communities. We've got to get back to the people's party and the fact that we're caring for people in our community. And these people try to make it impossible to do that. So we're going to talk about that and more when we come right back.
Oh, hi, I almost didn't see you there. Welcome to DCF Buns, where you can find the freshest buns in town, if I do say so myself. Our master bakers teach class every week, so whether you're new to baking or trying to improve your culinary skills, we got you covered. And we can help you bake the cake of your dreams. We'll even clean your cake if you want. And if you don't want to bake anything yourself, we have loads of fresh buns available in a variety of shapes and sizes. Check us out at dcfbuns.com to learn more. DCF Buns, we keep the buns hot and the deals hotter. Buns.
In every thread, in every stitch, Honor-Bound USA weaves the fabric of the American spirit. It's not just apparel, it's a testament to God, family, and country. At Honor-Bound USA, we're a family of patriots who put our faith, family, and America first. When you visit our website, you'll find a line of products that embody our commitment to pray, stand, speak, and act. As the official site for the Untamed podcast, all of our products proclaim speaking the truth with courage. We also have the powerful documentary from Professor David Clements, Let My People Go. Identify yourself as one of the few who are willing to stand for what they believe in. Join the Honor-Bound USA family today. Wear it as a badge of honor, commitment to the values that shape us, and a pledge to the bright future we will build together. Because when you're honor-bound, you're not just wearing a brand, you're embodying a lifestyle.
Know what this guy says because it's proving to be absolutely true. Watch.
I made two separate videos before the election. One of the videos said I was going to vote for Kamala Harris. The other video said I was going to vote for Donald Trump. And I just wanted to see the mixed reactions from people and how people would react, because I do a lot of work from my hometown, do a lot of work from my community. I work with young boys. And I never said who I was voting for. But I made those two videos because I wanted to show people how they are in reality. I made the Donald Trump video and I made the Kamala Harris video. Under the Kamala Harris video, you definitely had some Trump supporters like, well, we understand that you may have a different opinion or whatever, but we still support what you do. Maybe you'll wake up one day, etc., etc. You know, things like that. It wasn't nothing vile, wasn't no bad comments or nothing. I made the Donald Trump video. I got people that unfollow me. I got people saying they can't support nothing I do no more. I got folk calling me all types of names, etc., etc. But what's crazy is all of the Kamala Harris supporters have become what they accuse Trump supporters of being. When you say you support Donald Trump, y'all be ready to kill him. Y'all ready to burn him at the stake. You calling them all types of names. You unfollowing them. You don't care what they're doing for their community. Nothing. If you support Trump, F you, I hate you so much, etc., etc. But all the people under the post, all the Trump supporters, when I said I was going to vote for Kamala, it was all love anyway. They was like, well, we still support what you're doing. We still going to donate. We still love the work, even though you don't have to support Donald Trump, etc., etc. So I've only received hate from the people that call themselves the tolerant side, the side that's supposed to be about love, the side that's supposed to be, that's not about hate. But it's crazy because anytime somebody doesn't agree with you, all you spew is hate. All you give is hate. So it's funny how everybody who call themselves Democrats, you have turned into what you accuse the Republicans of being.
How interesting is that? The harsh reality is that the left is literally projectionist. But who is the left? I was having a conversation with a friend of mine. I've been called everything in the book. Anti-Defamation League says I'm an anti-Semite. Al Sharpton and his boys said I'm a racist. I mean, I've heard it all. I have literally heard it all. And these are the people that go out there, and this guy's just pointing out the obvious. That this social contagion of I'm a good person while you basically are advocating for the societal rot that exists in our society is telling. Now, as long as they can actually stand up and say it with us, you know, without breaking face, without getting angry, then we're supposed to see them as that they're not nuts, but they are nuts. They're advocating for the cutting off of nuts. They're advocating for some just weird stuff all the way around. And they tell us that that's societal norms. but it's not. They say that allowing for third world mentality to come and take over our country. And it gets worse than that. Every single day, there's 4 or 5 or 10 or 12 or 15 or 20 just spotlighted judicial decisions that are made. $5.6 million stolen by a Somali gets 6 months in jail. Well, geez, who wouldn't steal $5.6 million if you knew the only thing you get is 6 months in jail? Well, I could tell you, because that wouldn't be true of white people, because they would just throw the book at a white person, give them 55 years in jail, which happened. $1.7 million stolen in Nevada, 55 years. 55 years in prison. See, the yoke is not equal, because we live in a lawless society where radical leftists only care about the fact of whether or not the person that they're actually looking at is also an evil radical leftist. But let's be honest. Let's separate the good from the bad. And let's talk about our responsibility for publishing what is right. I have struggled with this over the last couple of days specifically. That's why I took a couple of days off and wanted to go touch grass. I see the societal rot that exists, and I also see the judiciary as being an instrument of absolute evil. And that the people inside of the judiciary, the judges that are actually good people, are choosing to retire, much like police officers are choosing to retire rather than fight against a corrupt system that allows for police officers to literally be treated as, I don't even know, for target practice. And on this show, we've said it quite often. I will talk about the fact that if you commit treason, you should be hung. If you commit treason, you should face the firing squad. I've been called everything in the book. They've said that I have mental issues. I probably am the furthest person from having mental issues as you're going to have. I've sat down. I even made it a point recently. I go, you know what? I called up my attorney having to deal with this, and I was like, I should go see someone. I should go see someone just to make sure that I'm doing a neck-up checkup. I'm sitting out in the hallway with a friend of mine's wife, and she's a clinical psychologist, and I was like, maybe I'll just start by seeing you. Maybe just tell me what's going on in my brain. Because I'm an arbiter of reality, so I want to see that. And then I see people that we put up on pedestals, and we said, this is normal. President Trump, over the last couple of days, has been more than vocal. He says, well, your critics say, and he goes, I don't give a crap about my critics. Why would I care about my critics? I actually don't care about my critics. Now, I give critics air, because anyone that's a sensible, smart person always wants to make sure that they're going true north. And you're never truly going to be true north. But if you take the time to actually at least examine your own behavior, you can say, maybe I should have softened that a little bit. And then President Trump follows it up, and he has this amazing sense of humor. And you'd say, well, Joe, what about this and what about that? Tulsi Gabbard, things are going with the elections. He's got so much on his plate. Imagine what we go through in our lives. Imagine just having one judicial problem, one case where you have someone putting their thumb on the scales of justice that is lying with impunity and is serving the interest of Team Evil. I'm in the middle of that case right now. I have a judge right now who literally has no business being on the bench, who I found out worked for the law firm that represented the private equity firm that owned Dominion Voting Systems. True story. The judge in the case for Eric Coomer that was put on the bench, Polis put him out there, worked for the law firm that represents Staple Street Capital. And you know what? It all starts to make sense when you start looking at the fraternities that exist everywhere. But right now I'm talking about another man who gave air to someone that called for the killing of you and me. Play it.
All up. My kids, fuck all up. And fuck Charlie. That's how I feel, and I've been saying it, you know, so. I'm gonna be Charlie for Halloween. Put a fucking hole in my neck. And free Tyler Robinson. The fuck, in my eyes, that's what a patriot is, shit. Just free him and send him to the military. He a good shot, you can't deny that. Send him to the military, shit, man, help the country.
Thanks, man. I appreciate it.
Thanks, man, I appreciate it. This is the same Don Lemon that went into a church that should have been charged with a crime. He should go to jail for 10 years. Don Lemon, this is the man who sat there and just gave air to a man who diabolically called for a murderer to be let free. I wasn't going to address the Chud the Chud, was it Chud the Builder? Chud the guy that runs around saying profanities and racial epithets regularly, who shot a guy in the stomach. I think Chud is a moron. That's what I think. I think that if you're trying to create civil unrest and you're trying to do it under the guise of the First Amendment, you're pressing every limit, you're going to get in a fight. And I'm not so sure that being a white guy, I would let him run around saying the N-word and saying chimp out, chimp out, chimp out. I'm not sure I wouldn't have some harsh words for him. I'm not sure that frankly, that I would stand for it, personally. At the same time, we have a First Amendment. He shot a person and shot a guy in the stomach. And in this case, it doesn't look like he instigated things. Shot a guy, ended up shooting himself while he shot a guy, which means he's not well trained. And thank God he shot him in the stomach, because had he been well trained, he would have put one through his heart. That'd have been it. Lights out. But we have a system that's designed for let evil people out. Let's go down to Texas. And there was a young man who stabbed a white kid in the heart, killed him. $250,000 bail. Chud the Builder, whatever his name is, $1.25 million. And the guy down in Texas got a GoFundMe for over $1 million. No one tried to stop it. Chud the Builder goes out there, raises $500,000. The DA steps in and says, ill-gotten gains, people are not allowed to help you with your defense. Sets the bail at $1.25 million. It is as if the system is designed to do whatever the system wants to do, and that the law, the line of law is above the people. But above that line are DAs, government employees, you name it. They're all up here, the haves. And you got guys like Don Lemon that go into a church and terrorize people while they're in a position of faith. But if someone walks in and yells inside of a mosque or does anything to question the powers, as Jake Lang did, going to a Chud the Builder, whatever his name is, Chud the Builder. And by the way, I don't advocate for Chud at all. I think the guy is just he's a glory hound. You could like him or dislike. I don't care what you think. What I can tell you is if you walk out and you poke the bear, man, the bear is eventually going to poke back. There's 100% chance of rain at that point. Something's going to come down on you. I mean, you got guys out there, frankly, that would shoot their grandmother, and you don't think you're going to be able to walk out in the community and use the N-word and tell people they're going to chimp out and not have somebody shoot you? No, it's going to happen. And he's lucky he ended up on the end where someone just took a punch at him and he just shot him in the stomach. And he's lucky no one died. But the First Amendment is absolute. Short of going into a movie theater, it's absolute. You should be able to share your thoughts. And they said, well, social media makes it so that the message can go out further. There's always been a form of social media that existed. Radio, TV, it's all the same thing. Magazines, these are all ways that you can distribute, direct mail, you name it. You could have done it. And they're acting as if social media is somehow different. What is becoming obviously clear is that people like Don Lemon, they can platform people that call for the murder of people like you and me. Charlie Kirk was an amazing man. The vacuum that was created by Charlie Kirk's death was purposeful by the CIA and by this group of people who has stolen your voice, period. There's no other way to look at it. There's a 100% chance that our elections in all 50 states, in every county, in every jurisdiction where there's an election machine, they're stolen. Every single one of them. There's not one election that happened in this country. And if you think that that's not true, then why do they keep moving the goalposts? And you have ranked choice voting and the risk limited audit, even though we found out risk limited audit is just code word for that's bullshit. Because they have the ability to have stored procedures that are inside of the system that allow for them to pick and choose ballots they know are real. Therefore, they can bypass any amount of fraud that exists. And if what I'm saying is not true, then how come the systems that they use for elections are not transparent? And neither was the sale of Dominion voting systems to Liberty Vote. Why wasn't that public? You're doing a public good. You're serving as a government agency, and yet you're allowed to hide that from the American people. This is what's happening on the left. And you know what people are actually saying now? People are saying we've had enough. It's not a two-tier justice system. That's not what it is. It is tyranny that has captured our nation. And the people like me that literally have to fight every day, carry a gun everywhere they go, have to literally be on the ready at all times. We're the ones that get to suffer, while people that do really bad things in their community get let off scot-free. And let me just tell you how bad it's going. And how quickly it's going to, I'm telling you right now, the de-evolution of what's happening in the United States is about to come to a halt, and we know who they are. We know who have caused this. We know who they are. Well, I want you to see this. This is what's happening in Seattle. Play it.
We just saw a Honda Element drive around here, so we got to put a stump over there, I think.
You can't just illegally block the road because...
Another conflict divides North Seattle's Greenwood neighborhood.
It's either this or bullets in my neighbors' houses.
Not gunfire, but how far residents are going to stop it.
Our neighbors put these up in self-defense.
The risk of emergency services not being able to get through here is greater than the good that they think that they're doing from putting up this.
Makeshift barricades now block 3 streets off Aurora Avenue, and they're building frustration.
And I just don't think that this is the right fix.
It comes after residents like Kate and Peter say they've documented at least 8 shootings in about the past month within roughly 10 blocks of their homes.
We celebrate when there's not a shooting.
Until that evil is taken care of, we got to deal with this.
Seattle requires permits to block or place structures in public streets. Unauthorized obstructions can lead to fines or removal orders. Kate and Peter say they were built over the weekend and say they don't know whether a permit was approved.
You can't just move these makeshift barricades out of the way. And you can see here they're made of dirt, gravel, chunks of concrete, and even logs.
But doing it yourself, I don't think is right.
Some say it goes too far.
It's not a good way to protest. It doesn't solve anything.
It's not a fix for sure. It's a Band-Aid. This is Tylenol for stage 4 cancer.
Conflicts between neighbors ended in understanding and, in one case, a handshake.
I'd shake your hand and give you a hug if you're into it. But,
I'll shake your hand, sir.
Yeah.
What's your name?
Peter.
Peter Clark.
As neighbors push the city to stop the violence, their homegrown roadblocks could find themselves at the top of the city's to-do list and be removed.
We're at the point of we have to choose between the lesser of evils.
We have to choose between the lesser of evils. Elections are the thing that actually drive the success of your communities. They're the ebb and flows of societal norms. The mores of society are dictated by the people in the community and what they're willing to tolerate or not tolerate. And yet, what you see happening in Seattle is that they're not willing to tolerate it. Now, they're still milquetoast, and they're still not doing what needs to be done and what should be done. In the 70s, you had the Black Panthers. You had the groups that would go out in New York City and Washington, D.C., and they quickly became corrupted by people that wanted more and more power. But now what's happening in our communities is we're having to sit back and watch as they say that, hey, that's not the right way to protest, as you heard that woman say. That's not a good way to protest. Well, was a good way to protest in Seattle where they had Chaz zones that terrorized business owners and their residents, where they're held hostage by people who frankly walk around with all sorts of makeshift weapons, burn down buildings, and do harm to you and force you to be a part of their societal norm, or they ostracize you or attack you. Which one? And the fact that we're having a debate about this specifically is problematic. It's problematic because it doesn't represent the interests of the people at all, who want life, liberty, pursuit of happiness, and for the deserts that exist to disappear. All too often, they come into our communities and they take away our gun rights. They take away our First Amendment rights. They tell us that the First Amendment is not absolute. The idea that you can actually petition for redress of grievances, which is a part of the First Amendment, and also that you're allowed to protest. Not allowed to do that either. We saw that on January 6th. They called it an insurrection, where a couple million people got together and went to the Capitol and said, you stole our election. We have been resolute about what happened in 2020, 2022, 2024, and now soon to be 2026. We saw as the CIA came in and grabbed up boxes from the ODNI that had absolute proof of election fraud, and that the fact that the gaslighting that's had happened for so long, we're sitting on the sidelines going, you call us crazy, and we're the only sane ones in the room. But see, they know that they're insane. They know that putting up barriers should be an ideal way to say, look, I'm going to protect my community so I don't have bullets flying through my house. But that's not the case. The average time that it takes a police officer, if they even show up in Seattle, is 19 minutes. The most draconian gun laws that exist are also in Seattle, Washington, and in Oregon. So in 19 minutes time, what they've told you is, hey, by the way, if they break in, go hide in the closet. Call us, we'll get there as soon as we can. The idea of self-determination has gone to the wayside for become our victim. And if you do fight back, we're going to set your bail at $1.25 million. We used to have a saying that sticks and stones will break your bones, but words can never hurt you. Now it's words not only can hurt you, but we can persecute you and prosecute you when we take away everything from you. We have defamation laws and slander laws, and if we decide that we're going to get past the whole anti-slap of free speech, we'll just walk past it as if it's not even there, by declaring falsities and by declaring things that we know are not true. We just declare them, therefore creating credibility out of nowhere, out of thin air. And the reason why they hate me is because I sit in here and I speak what can only be described as utter truth, period. End stop. There's more though. While we talk about what's happening in Seattle, we can see it. Our communities are unsafe. They're unsafe. But as we talk about that, we also have to talk about the entitlements that have been created. And in Colorado, we're literally in the top 5 of states where housing prices are dropping 5, 7, 10, 12%, because no one wants to live here. The day's supply of homes now in the state of Colorado has reached the peak of 2009. Imagine that. Go ahead and play this. This is also available.
How much does your transition shit cost?
Hormones?
Yes, how much does it cost?
Well, I just got back on Medicaid.
Hormones?
So
but no, you got tits as well.
Those were free.
You did your
Those
nails?
were free.
Nails? Why?
Because my body is priceless.
No, how was it free?
Oh, Colorado taxpayers. Yeah.
Not federal, right? Just Colorado?
I
I hope not, because I just wrote a $4 million check the other day to the IRS. If that's paying for literal titties, what are we doing?
This was years
I have nothing wrong with trans, but why am I paying for people's boob jobs?
Don't get me wrong. I don't think it should happen either, but I did abuse the system. Because why would I pay for it if I can get it for free?
The government, the taxpayers paid for your tits?
I mean, I pay taxes too, so some of my
No, you're not a net contributor. No, we just sent you $4,000 back, especially with your no tax on tip thing, and the majority is tip. It's honestly, it's just I'm not in favor of the no taxes on tip thing. It's so stupid. You already contribute nothing, and it's just more populist policy.
No, you're right. We should just be getting paid a normal wage, so we shouldn't have to get tipped.
Well, that's fine too, but advocate for that. It's just so stupid. It's just a performative policy, and that's why both parties are on it, because populism is winning right now. It's so stupid. So you already don't contribute anything. You're part of the.
I do contribute.
No, you're part of the 50% that contribute 1%. It's nothing. It's a drop in the bucket.
I don't know
if
what
it
that
was
means.
gone, nothing would change. This is we give everything to you. Now we pay for your boob.
Colorado taxpayers paying for, and let me just tell you about this, transition free, the surgery is free, boob jobs are free, hormone medication free. In 2025, Colorado passed HB 25-1309, actually signed by Polis. It codified and expanded insurance protections for gender-affirming care across plans, including hormone therapy, breast augmentation, facial surgery, and more. Now, breast cancer survivors get implants free of charge after surviving cancer. So ask yourself this, after all this stuff, they get augmentation, they get their breasts removed for cancer. No. We have perverted the norm and we have normalized the perverted. If a person is enrolled in Colorado's Medicare program, gender-affirming breast augmentation, which is a mammoplasty, is a covered benefit. And let me just tell you what they have to have for Medicare. This is going to blow your mind. The patient has to have formal clinical diagnosis of gender dysphoria. So they have to be diagnosed with a mental disorder. The state actually admits it's a mental disorder, and yet it promotes it to children in schools. You have to be 18 years old. You have to have completed 12 continuous months of hormone replacement therapy. Yeah, a licensed behavioral health professional must provide a signed letter confirming the patient meets all the criteria. So you have to have a loony person that is signed off by a behavioral health person who is a part of this social contagion. 12 months of putting stuff into your body to make boobs grow. And then, no problem, we got you straight here, Bubba. You got it. Bubba can become a mama. This is a war on Americans at every level. And if you haven't heard this, this is Pastor Manning when talking about the radical left. And we're going to talk a little bit about this in a second. Go ahead and play it.
I'm tired of the Democrat Party making bitches out of our women and pussies out of our men. I'm tired of it. I'm tired. I've had enough of it. I've had enough of it. The man needs to stand up and be a man. Stand up and take back our community. Stand up and tell the truth. And Al Sharpton needs to go. He needs to be off television tomorrow. He needs to go. You look at the children that are suffering, ain't got no daddy, and watching mama and some nigga she dragged in off the street having sex because all they got is that one room. And the daughter's watching, a 3-year-old daughter watching sex going on. It needs to stop.
Divide, marginalize, keep us in a constant state of chaos. Do you think that guy was on the left or the right? Do you think that Pastor Manning was a conservative? He's not. He's a Democrat. I had to look it up. We all feel the same way. Democrats, Republicans, Independents all feel the same way. After the show today, I plan on doing a video that addresses some stuff that's going on in Colorado. So let this be my diatribe. Can you put up the comments, please, so I can see them? Oh, wow, good to know. Thanks, Jeff. Is that so helpful? Bless your friend. I like that. I'm using it. So I'm just reading comments, guys. Give me 1 second here. We are not going to vote our way out of this mess until we clean up the voting mess. My gosh, we have a lot of work to do. This is my story, you're right. Silver, where to buy, Joe? Give me a little bit. I'll give you the place to go buy it. We have a silver smelter that can get you a good price. I've been trying to stay away from it. Look, everyone that bought during the time that I was actually promoting it did really well. I've gotten a lot of thank yous. And the stocks that I promoted also got a bunch of thank yous. Let me go back to this really quick. So I ran for governor, and I got out of the governor's race and I ran for state chair. And when I ran for state chair, I did so because Britta Horn had stepped down. She came into office when Dave Williams went out. And the state, what's really interesting about what's happening in Colorado is I've now had confirmation from Washington, Oregon, Idaho, Nevada of similar breakdowns in the Republican Party at a very standardized level, which shows me the same thing that it shows me if I were looking at what's happened across the country and around the world. The breakdown that we have in the Republican Republican Party is purposeful. And the people that are above the line of law, the elites and the people that are up there that are creating this chaos, they're actually paying people. They're literally writing checks to people to go into the party and destroy it. True story. And over the last 60 days, when I stepped out of the governor's race, you have three candidates that are running through the primary: Barb Kirkmeyer, Scott Bottoms, and Victor Marks. Victor Marks is rife with pretty much every controversy known to man. Won't debate anyone, doesn't want to give anybody any, he doesn't want to have the conversation about why he's actually a legitimate candidate. He just wants to say that I'm not going to go run in the mud. He's got a lot of stuff to answer for, frankly. A lot of stuff to answer for. And the fact that anyone would vote for a man that has this much to answer for, who won't answer for it, just come out and have the conversation. Like when I go on to Ryan Schuling's, or I go on to any one of these shows, by the way, I'm really good for ratings. You say what you want. Every time I get on a show, it goes from 5% to 1,500%. And I'm like, listen, but I'll answer any hard question. But the reason why I got out of that race is that you have a couple of very good, Scott Bottoms is my guy, right? Scott Bottoms becomes governor of Colorado and he will change a lot of different things. But I recognize that we have to fix the Republican Party holistically across the board, have a strong state party and strong county parties across the board. And the only way to do that is I hate the word unity. It's to tear it down, Wreck-It Ralph, and make it an organization that represents the interests of the people in the community. And then people who are ethical Democrats and independents will flock to the party because it will represent what is most important to them, which is opportunity for their children, grandchildren, and I call it generational ability to create opportunity for themselves and the people around them that they love. Here's what I've learned in the last 60 days. There's a lot of people that don't want that. There's a lot of people that tell stories about me all the time. And there's stories that are told are so flamboyantly just nonsense. They either adopt the radical left's agenda and their ideas, or their slanderous comments about me, or the other part is they just make it up. So I have a certain group of people that are like, you're aligning yourself with this person, therefore I can't vote for you. To hell with the party. To hell with the idea that we need a strong, centralized state party in order to capture the hearts and minds of the people of Colorado. We have to be able to do the things that we said we're going to do. Represent the people in the community. Get back in there for town halls. Make sure that we actually undo some of these draconian laws. Put places of opportunity, put in trade schools and reform education, get rid of the administration, create opportunities where we're not cutting off penises and that 20% of our parents are running away from the public school system because it is so draconian and so invasive that it literally is destroying what it means to be a parent. Where we know what the difference is between a girl and a boy, and we stop pedophiles from becoming teachers so that they can groom students. We're going to have over 100 teachers this year in the state of Colorado that will be arrested and charged with sex crimes against children in the public school system. 100. It was 39 last year. It's 100 this year. And over 30 of them are in one county. Jefferson County, Colorado. There's 64 counties. One county, over 30. And every time I turn around and I have a conversation with people that are SEC members, that vote, they all have something to say about someone else. 90% of them, though, I'm like, I understand you. I hear you. Mission driven. Let's fix the structure. Let's make ourselves viable. Let's make it so that the 900,000 plus Republicans in the state want to support and invest in a mechanism that will allow for them to have a voice into the future. Let's make it so big that every Democrat and independent doesn't want anything to do with the Democrat Party, which has been captured by the Democrat Socialists of America. Let's give people back their voice. Let's become the party of black and brown and yellow and purple people. Let's become what the Republican Party stood for when it stood against slavery and fought to make sure we could end it. Let's make it the party that stood against segregation. See, now the Democrats are going back to let's re-segregate. Why? Because eugenics were the thing that they wanted to push towards the entire time. Let's genocide entire generations of black and brown people, and then let's tell them it's a right. Your body, you could do it. And by the way, let's have a bunch of radical leftist white women be the ones to tell black and brown men and women that you need to listen to us because we're the smartest. And we know that you don't know how to use a phone or a computer and that you're dumb and can't have an ID. These are the things that the Democrat Party has been pressing into their community for so long. But as I have conversations with people in all 64 counties, chairs and county chairs, I meet some of the most amazing people I have ever met. And then I meet the people that aren't. And I have people that come to me and say, I'm gonna help you with your campaign. And these same people want to sit and fight with other people, call them names, and slander people. So much so that if you didn't see the show that I did last night or yesterday, I recorded that on Thursday, excuse me, it was Thursday that I did that. And I gave Adam Dorito a platform. He said, I will hold off on a lawsuit that'll just tear the party apart. And the whole weekend, I saw memes about Adam Dorito. I have seen memes about Adam Dorito and other people in Colorado that they have eviscerated. So much so that their fact or their fiction becomes fact. Not one of them picked up the phone and called anyone in Adam's previous command. Not one. But I did. Not one of them closely got into his job and said, I want to know, does he have a problem? Nope, he sure doesn't. Now, I have plenty of people say that he's evil and have demonized him and done the things that they did. And it's unpopular for me to stand up for a man in my community when all I'm trying to do is get the community to act right. When we should be winning everything in the entire state. It's not hard. You can make it too big to rig. You can make it too big to rig. Just focus in on what the community needs. And then I've seen the slander that is overwhelming. I had to take 3 days off and touch grass because 2 days last week, I had to deal with a problem that was created by people that said, Joe, I'm for you. I'm going to help you in this administration. And all I kept thinking to myself is, with this type of help, I absolutely don't need enemies. And the party doesn't either. The amount of, and I believe the text message from single person was, you said you wouldn't betray me. When you make it more about your ego and recognition for wrecking the lives of others, you've not only betrayed you, you've betrayed your community, your children, and everything that is sacred about our state and our country. It is difficult for me not to call people retarded. It became even more difficult when I had to figure out how am I going to do this job and be tolerant and patient? And God has challenged me in this case. Because I have the intelligence, I have the ability to get things done. I can Wreck-It Ralph, come right through it, and we can create amazing things inside of our community. But how do I do it with people who are selfish, self-centered, while telling us they're here to help? You can't. You can't. And I have fought so many fights over the last 6 years. And I finally came to the conclusion, if the left doesn't want me to be the state chair, viciously, and say whatever they want about me. I've been dying to get that lawsuit across the finish line so I could finish Kyle Clark on his last, as he's going off, serve him and 9 News with a lawsuit. I've been dying for it. If the left doesn't like me, and there's a certain group of people that desperately don't want to fix the Republican Party by promoting someone that all being nice people, they're nice people. All 4 of the other candidates that are running for state chair are nice people. They can't do the job. They can't do the job. They can't raise money. They can't fix the organization. They can't create a structure that's necessary. And for people to vote against the one guy that's willing to sacrifice everything in order to fix the party sounds like it'd be almost impossible. Like, why would people do that? Well, they would do it because they don't want to fix the party. Because by fixing the party, that means you have to focus in on things other than yourself and other than on how to destroy someone right next to you that supposedly feels the same way you do. So I've got some massive changes as I become state chair. When I am elected state chair, I have massive changes. Rules of engagement that says that if you go out there and publicly try to destroy other people, you can't be a part of the party. Making sure that Republicans are out there actually voting for Republican interests. They can only represent the party as if they have less than an F rating when it comes to how they vote with policy. Because if you're voting for policy and you vote against the American people that put you in that position, then you don't deserve to hold that position. We're going to create accountability that can be launched across other states. And every state I talk to faces the same problem, an infiltration of people that are selfish and want to destroy everything that the party represents. This is not the party of Reagan, but it should be. It should be the party of the people. And Reagan was very clear. He goes, look, I don't care who you are. All I want to do is what's good for the community. And every time the government steps into a position, they never do good. It degrades further and further and further and further. And 20 years ago, when they decided they were going to use machines on a large scale in order to steal elections, that's when degradation just fell off a cliff. So I'm going to do a video, and I'm going to walk through this. And I'm going to get attacked from every side again. And I'm going to put this up to the people of Colorado and the people around the country. Either you want to fix it or you don't. And the party deserves what exactly it is willing to put up with. But for the anemacy of the Republican Party to get to a place where we are on the brink of near collapse, where there's no Republican Party, in the same state where the Democrats literally are the most reviled, hated group of people, leadership-wise, not the people in the community, it doesn't make any sense. It's like voting against your own interest just because you want to be spiteful. And I've heard people say, if this person gets into a position, I will not vote for them. And I know that they're an R, but I'm not voting for that R. I'll vote for another candidate. Because you're selfish. Because you haven't decided that the whole is greater than you. And that you're a part of something great, but you have betrayed the very idea of what it represents. See, someone's bad behavior, and I'm going to use Adam Dorito. If Adam was a bad person, Adam Dorito was a bad person, he would have demerits over the last 11 years when he served in the National Guard. He has 0. Verifiable. He would not be at the same place of employment for 7 years with 0 issues, behavioral issues. There would not be a CID investigation open into people calling the federal government in order to basically ruin his career. That happened. And you would have real receipts of things that people did, not conjecture and made up stories that are written on paper with a "trust me, bro" next to it. I'm not to be swayed. I don't have to dislike or like Adam or anyone else to understand that the witch hunts that have happened in the Republican Party are disgusting, and they show you just how weak-minded we've become because we can't focus on it because we don't want, hey, you know what? If I can't win a race because of the anemacy of the party, I sure as hell can win by destroying this person next to me. I draw the line when you say, I think this person needs to go kill themselves or called a pedophile or go through this slander fest that happens. I draw the line. And so I will just say it right now. I don't know, by the way, who TRC 025 is. You're going to have to text me or do something in some other way in order to reach me. Tell Mark Cook to call me. Mark can call you, but I have no idea who you are, so I can't do that for you. Anyway, the vote is next Saturday, the 30th. And if I don't win by a landslide, then it tells me everything I need to know about the party. But if you want to save this state, then I suggest you contact the Republican Party and contact the CRC, which is the SEC, and say, listen, there really isn't another viable choice. But if you come in to say that you're going to stand next to me and you do stuff to hurt me and you make me spend all day, 2 days, defending you, and then you call me and tell me that I betrayed you and I don't even need to say your names, and you discount me as if somewhere along the line you don't have to listen to me, pay attention to words I just said. I will not tolerate bullshit from anyone. And I certainly won't allow anybody to come into this party and destroy it from the inside out and stop progress. I don't need boat anchors. The state doesn't need boat anchors. This nation does not need boat anchors. And you will find very quickly that I will get to a place where we have absolute unity, because unity is not anything that I'm looking for. It's mission-driven, tactical success. It's winning. And when we concentrate on that, there can be no loss. All right. Let's pray it out. And here's the other thing. Nobody influences me. I'm a smart guy. We've already been building up stuff. I do have some specific people that I'm going to have inside of the deal. And if other people want to volunteer and they want to be a part of it, they can. But we're going to have 10,000 volunteers in the first 60 days. We're going to have a movement across Colorado that will encompass Denver and Aurora, and we're going to go in and we're going to become the People's Party. And if you don't want that, you work against that, I will know who you are, and so will everybody else by the time I'm done. All right, let's pray. Father God, Father, we are tired, and I just want to just ask you for forgiveness. It has been, I'm so angry. Not angry meaning I'm just angry. I'm just upset over the fact that I keep looking for you to do the work that frankly we need to be doing. Father, I don't have the answers. And sometimes, personally, I get to this place where I feel like it's a place of despair, and I know that in the end, your will be done regardless of what happens. And yet sometimes I feel out of control knowing that I shouldn't be in control. And I have a vision for how I want things to work out, and I just know that I need to be able to lean into you and hand it over to you. So Father, forgive me for not doing that. Forgive me for seeing things in a way that shows that I really don't have a lot of faith anyway. Or at least I'm poorly showing it. Father, we are grateful for the blessings that we have in our lives, every one of us individually and collectively. We're grateful for this opportunity we can to be able to have the veil lifted so we can see evil for what it is. I'm grateful, Father, that I can separate bad people from good people and stop holistically looking at it as the Democrats versus the Republicans. I recognize that that's just was wrong. I recognize that some people stand on the side of a field because of public pressures or even because they of the reputation that's been created by a system designed to destroy everything that we represent as people. Father, we recognize the talents that you've given us. We recognize the courage and sacrifice that's come before us. Father, I just ask you to give us the tools to be able to separate the good from the bad, and to a place where we can actually affect change in our communities and do so authentically and with absolute integrity. Help us, Father, that we may pay attention to organizations like Jeff was talking about, Jeff Kyle, and the work that he is pioneering to help his brothers and sisters that served. Help us, Father, that we can, as we build out these projects to protect churches across the country and to really stand strong in our values and in our faith, that we can do so with honor, but also with peace. Father, we're grateful for the sacrifices that came before us. And we're grateful for the roles that we play. We're grateful for the people that you've put in our lives individually and collectively. We ask you, this, Father, that you would just lift the burden off of our leaders and allow for the good to overcome the evil in such a pronounced and extreme way that it eliminates these chains that have been binding us for so long. And that we may shine light on our election systems and the bad people that have hurt this country, but also for other countries, the same thing exists. So Father, I just ask you to give people courage to stand together and allow our values to stand for themselves and quit negotiating the ridiculous. I say these things, Father, humbly in the name of Jesus Christ. Amen. All right, Susan Rice, it's good to see you. Liberty Lion, amen. I want to help. Please reach out to me if there's anything I can do. My family is happy to help. Thank you. We're gonna win collectively together, and that's not just in Colorado. It's around the country. But we do have to be honest, and we have to support those that support us. We are going to start some sort of mission where we, one of the things I'm going to be doing that's going to be crazy, call it Wreck-It Ralph, is that I made this list of businesses, and I'm going to have volunteers. Their only job is to call businesses in their community and say, listen, are you left or you right? And they'll say, well, I'm left. Okay, what if you had a party that represented the people? And they're like, yeah, we'd love that. Great. We need you to give $50 a month to the Republican Party. And I'm going to have 10,000 volunteers that are calling every business in Colorado saying, we want to represent you. And our goal is to every single day create an environment where businesses are feeling like the Better Business Bureau didn't do it for us, they betrayed us. The Chamber of Commerce didn't do it, they betrayed us. And they betrayed us, and they betrayed us. But this group won't betray us. This group will have a town hall, will send people to the legislature, will do everything they can to support and destroy the evil that has taken away so much from the great state of Colorado. And then that will be the thing that we take to all 49 other states. I feel like this is it. This is the tip of the spear. We're going to do some great things. So stay tuned for it. I'm excited to be able to do this. I'm also excited to be able to serve. And after my 3 days, I feel like I'm back. So it was good to have a little bit of touch grass moment. God bless you all. Remember, hit the share button, hit the little up button on your way out. If you're on Roku, let me know how that actually goes. I did see that it's almost impossible to watch it on Rumble. I apologize. I'm working to get them to fix it. I saw the comments that we got, but Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Spotify, Pandora, iHeartRadio, TuneIn, and more. You are the ambassadors of truth. Please share it. Take the prayer that I gave you, or that I gave, and just heap it upon you. I know God is watching all of us. He is in everything that we do. And we need to make sure that we honor that. The biggest part of my journey over the last 6 years has been the sunsetting of the last 6 years. My friend Jared this morning said, he goes, Joe, you've been so far in the fighting darkness, that maybe now's the time that you fight in the light. So I get a bigger flashlight. I think there's something to be said there. It's prophetic. So God bless you. We'll see you soon.
Rise up untamed, in the heart of the fight where the wild ones roam. Joe Oltmann's calling, bringing truth back home. From conservative daily to this untamed fire, we shatter the silence, lifting spirits higher. No chains can hold us, no lies can prevail. Authentic and fearless on this rugged trail. Patriots gather under stars and stripes. Untamed nation, igniting the nights. Untamed nation, let the truth roll out in this land of the free. Standing proud from sea to shining sea, we won't back down. Catch the fire, wear the crown. Untamed nation, it's our battle song, motivating hearts where the brave belong. Yeah, untamed and wild, forever strong. Play it again all night long. Break the mold, chase the real. No more games, time to heal. Joe's voice leads the untamed crew. Truth matters through and through. Untamed nation, let the truth roll out in this land of the free. Standing proud from sea to shining sea, we won't back down. Catch the fire, wear the crown. Untamed nation, it's our battle song, motivating hearts where the brave